between the U.S. and China, including this Truth Social post just a few moments ago from the president, where he says that he believes he made a fast deal with China to try to save them from what he thought was going to be a very bad situation. He says the bad news is that China, perhaps not surprisingly to some, has totally violated its agreement with the U.S. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy. So the clear suggestion there is that perhaps the trade de-escalation is done and we could see a re-escalation and maybe even higher tariffs. And this is not sitting well with the market. We saw you.
Do you ever open your eyes? You say, hello, world, when you wake up in the morning, and then your first thought is, China! China! Damn you, China! Is that ever? China! Is that ever your first thought? Well, it was Trump's first thought this morning. Good morning to all of you. I hope you're doing absolutely wonderful on this. Is it Friday? It's Friday. Whoa. And Friday is off to a hot start. Thank you to everyone joining us live or watching back on the recorded versions on YouTube and podcast platforms. As always, if you become a member by clicking the join button as we go through a thick show that I have for you, I will read your name like April, who became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube very quickly and very excitingly. So let me read more specifics about what you heard CNN reporting on there, which is that Trump seems to be indicating, as the correspondent said, that his escalation or his de-escalation is no more. So maybe he's going to de-escalate his de-escalation, thus escalating it further. 2 weeks ago, China was in grave economic danger, says Trump at 7 a.m. The very high tariffs. I hadn't even had my caffeine. He's already writing this post. Man, he's up. Ready to go. The very high tariffs I set made it virtually impossible for China to trade into the United States marketplace, which is by far number one in the world. We went, in effect, cold turkey with China. And it was devastating for them. Many factories closed, and there was, to put it mildly, civil unrest. I saw what was happening and didn't like it for them, not for us. It's like when I go, not me, jokingly, but he's doing it unironically, not for us. I made a fast deal with China in order to save them from what I thought was going to be a very bad situation, and I didn't want to see that happen. Because of this deal, everything quickly stabilized and China got back to business as usual. Everybody was happy. That is good news. The bad news is that China, perhaps not surprisingly to some, has totally violated its agreement with us. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy. So here's a few of the logical problems with that from my perspective. Why is he saying, after screaming America first a billion times, that he made a decision that wasn't really good for us, but was trying to prevent China from collapsing or whatever? That's what he's saying. The only reason none of them can keep their logic straight. I'm so sick of it. The only reason that they struck this deal, sort of, or just mutually de-escalated the tariff escalations, was because China was having unrest and it was looking not great for them. But I thought that was the genius deal where you got huge concessions for us, but you just admitted that's not what happened. It just feels insulting they don't even try to mislead us very well, you know? Could you try a little harder? You know how Elon Musk said that he was leaving? I guess now he's leaving. Today's the day, but for real this time. I look kind of green today. Some weird coloring on this camera. I'm having a press conference tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time with Elon Musk at the Oval Office. This will be his last day, okay? Last day, part 6. But not really, because he will always be with us, helping all the way. Elon's terrific. See you tomorrow at the White House. I like how he kind of talks about him like a relative. While Aunt Sarah's gone, she will always be with us in our hearts. She will always, whenever you need to see Aunt Sarah, just close your eyes and imagine her beautiful face. Thank you. I'm now going to invite up Brother Connor to give his eulogy. Okay, Elon in a better place now, I guess. Joe, thank you for the super chat saying, I have too much money because of the tariffs. Here's some money. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. My brain went kaput for a second there. So yeah, Elon, I guess at 1:30 p.m. is having his final goodbye, a little goodbye party. Then Trump also ranted about on True Social this morning the U.S. Court of International Trade ruling against him, but then an appeals court paused the pause, so now we're unpaused while it's paused, and they're going to work it out, and then maybe it'll be paused permanent. We don't know. But right now his tariffs are unpaused. Ruled against the United States of America on desperately needed tariffs, but fortunately the full 11-judge panel and on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit Court has just stayed the order by the Manhattan-based Court of International Trade. Where did these initial 3 judges come from? Well, you appointed one of them, Bubby. How is it possible for them to have potentially done such damage to the United States of America? It is purely a hatred of Trump. What other reason could it be? I was new to Washington. Now he's justifying the fact that he selected one of these. And it was suggested that I use the Federalist Society as a recommending source on judges. I did so, openly and freely, but then realized that they were under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard Leo. Really? Leo? A bad person who, in his own way, probably hates America. So now the people who helped Trump to select these judges, now they must hate America because Trump's unhappy with the judges that he selected. No accountability. Moving on from that, it's Rudy's birthday. Rudy Giuliani posted, "Thank you for the wonderful birthday celebration." And along with it was this video. I didn't understand necessarily why he picked this video, just given, well, you'll see.
That way we can tell who the birthday boy is.
Yes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
So 12 of the 17 seconds that he posted for his birthday were just him getting up the stairs. Fine, I get it. The knees go out. I got it. Fine. But why'd you post that? It was mostly just you slowly getting up the stairs. Okay, good. I like your suit, though.
Happy birthday.
At any moment, it feels like he's just about to fall back. Come here. Let me get a hug. I would rather drag my man parts across broken glass for a mile than go to this birthday party and hang out with Rudy Giuliani. I would rather only eat cucumbers and mushrooms for the rest of my life. That's it. Than go to this birthday party. I would rather have to drink once a day someone else's urine than go to this birthday party. I would rather than hanging out with Rudy and friends on his boat, which, by the way, whose boat is this? Aren't you broke? Don't you still have to pay back Rudy Freeman? Not Rudy Freeman, Ruby Freeman. You're Rudy. She's Ruby. Rudy, you have to pay her back? Whose boat is this? Maybe sell that boat and give it to Ruby. But I would, instead of that, hanging out with Rudy and friends on his boat, watching him slowly get up the stairs, I would rather be in a serial killer's basement, like detained, and kind of like a glass box, like in You, the show. And every night the serial killer would come down and it would say hello, and I would say, "Hi, can I go?" And they would say, "No, I'm going to chop off one of your body parts." And I would say, "Oh, I would really wish that you wouldn't do that," as it pertains to the body parts being cut off. And then it would be a male serial killer. It could be a woman, and it could be a non-binary serial killer, but I'm thinking man, just in this, man. So the man's male serial killer, it would say, "Now it's time to chop something And I would say, well, can you do a finger? And they would say, yeah. And I would say, but can I keep a thumb? And they're like, since you said that, I'm going to chop off your thumb. Just remember, once all your little extremities are gone, then I'm going to kill you. And I would say, no. Oh, dang it. And then they would chop it off, and I would scream, and I would cry. But then we would play Monopoly, only because I don't have anyone there, so I might as well socialize with the serial killer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trapped. I don't love Monopoly, and I wish I had a thumb to play it, but I'll play with the serial killer, like, a time. Now, I'm not going to do, like, what's that game where you stretch out on the mat and you like, put your...
Twister.
Twister, thank you. Finally, Jaden got a prompt. Yes. Like, I'm not going to play Twister. That's a little too intimate, because it could be like, oh, I'm going for my right hand on blue, and then the serial killer could go and stab me. Like, that could be their thing. So I would rather Monopoly, at least I can keep an eye on the serial killer. And then eventually but what would happen is, as they come in to do their final, so now all of my fingers are gone. And like a chunk from my buttocks is gone. But that's when I get out, and then I run down the street. I go up to a police officer. The police officer is actually a friend of the serial killer. So they put me in the back of the car. They bring me back to the serial killer. But then I escape again. I get to actual police officers. I'm safe. I don't have fingers. A little chunk of my butt is gone. But I'm alive. I would rather that than going to Rudy Giuliani's birthday party. Fair? I would rather that than watching 10 seconds of this.
That way we can tell who the birthday boy is.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Who is that? Happy birthday. It's like, you're a little too drunk. Come on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Why is no one else singing? Rudy, do you have one friend? Happy birthday to... And no one else is even humming along? Oh, there.
Happy birthday, Mr. Giuliani.
Happy birthday.
All right. We wish Rudy only good things in this life. I came across an account. It looks right-wing. It is. Ryan, who said this is literally every movie nowadays. Okay, so let's see. Do we think this is literally every movie nowadays? And the label is woke mobsters. Let's watch.
Hey, look at me, pal, huh? You like that? I like that. You should have paid your...
Who says you like that like that? When you punch someone. I haven't punched a lot of people, but the times I have, I didn't go, oh, you like that? No, I don't think I've done... Well, but when I was actually punching... Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're actually punching someone, I just think it's a little weird to go, you like that? Oh, yeah, you like that? Oh, you want me to punch you again? It's like, are we enjoying this?
You should have paid your debts, pal. Joey, whack him. Whoa, hey, what'd I say?
We don't know his pronouns.
Yeah, we don't know how he chooses to identify. You're right. Excuse me. What do you go by?
He, him, but I appreciate you guys asking me.
No problem. Hey, and don't worry. Once you're gone, we'll send some flowers to your wife.
Whoa! Husband.
Huh?
I'm gay. I've been married to a man for the last 5 years.
Oh, hey! That's beautiful.
Congratulations.
Love is love. You know, I don't care who you sleep with, a man, a woman, or in your case, the fishes.
Whoa, wait!
All right, I'm getting kind of hungry. You boys want to get some food?
I could go for some sushi.
Hey, cultural appropriation. Let's keep it Italian.
How about some mozzarella,
I
huh?
could do some mozzarella, but is it gluten-free?
I'll call the restaurant and inform them of your allergy.
Okay. I appreciate the effort. I never like to poo-poo over people trying to be funny, you know? Thank you so much to Mitch for becoming a member. I appreciate it greatly. In response, someone said, go ahead and name a single movie like this. Are we still doing the left wants us to use pronouns thing? Like, that's so 2020 or whatever. 2022? When was it? I don't know. 2022, let's say. Or this is so last year, you know? Oh, if a movie was woke, it would be like really obnoxiously imitating Italians, I guess. And then pronoun jokes and gay jokes, which again, I love such jokes if they're funny, but here's what I mean. I would like to send, like, what if, is Epstein's Island still for sale? Let's say we all together crowdfund and we get Epstein's Island, okay? Not for the Epstein stuff, obviously, for just now because it's open, I'm assuming. Or maybe somebody got it. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be kind of icky to get that island. But I'm just saying, get an island and let's do that one. So we get that one. And then we just get it must be only 1% of each side that's so loud and so obnoxious, but actually secretly loves each other. So like, let's say on the pronoun issue, if you want to specify your pronouns, great, fine, wonderful. But if you are, again, I've yet to directly interact with someone like this, but I'm sure they exist. If you're someone who screams and says, you're terrible if you don't use it, which does that person even exist? But the right wing thinks that they exist. So let's say they exist on the left. And on the right, the people who think this is the foremost issue. Let's just get all of them together who are debating about that issue, an issue I care so little about. And just put them, they can just hang out with each other and scream at each other on the island, and then we can just talk about other stuff. Does that work? That works for me, okay? Oh, gosh. Pronouns. Ban pronouns. I have a husband. Get it? Because everyone's gay now. It's just like, I want to laugh. Make me laugh. And it could be funny. I think it flopped, That's okay, though. All right, so something else that's kind of funny is not the fact that Canoodle became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I appreciate it greatly. Did I already thank Tabitha, who became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube? I appreciate both of you. So Jake Tapper has really been advertising this book he's selling. I don't know if you've heard about it. And what's funny is he's talking about Biden's decline. We talked about it. We've been talking about it. And we're not done been talking about it. Okay, so we're going to talk about it. It's important. What went wrong? How we lose to Trump? All those things are great. Yay, yay, yay. You've heard me say it already. But there's another decline we got to talk about. And that's Jake Tapper's ratings. Oh, yeah. I said it. Okay. Just know, if you ever ick, that was a weird thing, Luke. Me too, okay? I have me, speaking me, and I have audience me, and audience me will be like, not your best, okay? So the lead with Jake Tapper averaged 525,000 total viewers from April 28th through May 25th. Now, he's getting total viewers? Is that how much he gets concurrently or throughout the whole show? It sounds like the whole show. If that's the whole show, it is crazy that in a day we're probably getting more than Jake. Weird. Shedding 25% of CNN's audience in its time slot for the same period last year in the process. By comparison, Fox News offerings The Five and Special Report with Bret Baier averaged 3.3 million viewers. Sheesh. From April 28th through April 25th, trouncing Tapper. MSNBC also beat Tapper among total viewers, as programming on the Progressive Network averaged a little over 1 million viewers in the time slot. Fox News commanded 68% of the viewers during that time frame, MSNBC 21%, Tapper 11%. The lead with Jake Tapper is also down from last year, and it's the lowest rated month since August of 2015. Oh, Bobby. Aaron Rupar said Jake Tapper's ratings are at their lowest point in a decade. This is what happens when you betray your audience in hopes you can sell some books to Trump supporters. A bad strategy since they won't read it and hate you in the beginning. Wait, what am I saying? Speaking of not being able to read, won't read it and hated you to begin with. Now listen, I'm not all the way in agreement with some of the people who are my colleagues, counterparts, and friends, some of them, which is sort of the why would they even have an investigation into this? Reporters, that is. The Comer investigation is ridiculous, but reporters try to learn what happened. Was there a cover-up? Those types of things. I actually do want to learn about all that because I do want to figure out what went wrong. And a big part of what went wrong was the fact that Biden failed at the end in his campaign. And so that's not my issue. But if you watch the shamelessness and the obsessiveness on this, you can't. So I keep saying you have two extremes of the argument. Another, like, let's put them on the island thing. Two extremes of this argument being, why are we talking about this at all? It's so insane. There should be 0 books about this topic. And the other side of the extreme is like, this is all we should be talking about. And so I'm not all the way on the first one, but I'm also, similar to many of the people in the first group, annoyed with how much someone like Jake Tapper, or how far he'll go, like saying this is like Watergate or whatever. And it's just, stop. It's a guy who got old, so he started declining like old people do. We just saw Rudy, okay? And like old people do, he had good times and bad times like all people do, but then when you start declining, you have better times, good times. So then people around him try to make sure that only people saw the good times. That's not like, oh, they knew the election was stolen, but they lied. It's not the same, and I'm so annoyed with the false equivalency. And so then the shamelessness of they're selling this book like I've never seen a cable news network sell a book before. It's been crazy. We have breaking news out of Austin, Texas. Political commentator Luke Beasley just had a bird poop on him so aggressively that he died. Luke Beasley had a long and storied life. He is survived by his entire family and everybody that he knows. Tragic news. Also tragic. What was exposed in Jake Tapper's new book? You can get it at Amazon.com. Like, we have breaking CNN news. Half of the United States of America was just nuked and people eviscerated. Sad. Also sad, Jake Tapper's new book exposes how Joe Biden's brain was melting. It's like, I can't remember the exact segue, but it was something so, one of them was like, and it's really sad to learn that Biden has cancer. We're also learning about Biden in Jake Tapper's new book, that it was literally that. And it was like, oh, that timing. And then some other one, I'm trying to remember, they were talking about something and they switched it to the new book. It's too much, CNN. And clearly your viewers are not liking it. Jake Tapper's show is, wow. So let's chill a little bit. Let's learn about all of it. But just to sell your book, don't blow it out of proportion. That's an important part. Yeah. Age, decline, impediments. They didn't want people to see that, like happened with Reagan too, by the way. Making sure that people weren't aware of kind of how the age was impacting his abilities. And reasonable people can take good takeaways from that without becoming weird and CNN right now. Okay, Howard Lutnick. Oh, what a sight for sore eyes. Look at him. Let's listen to this, and then I have some thoughts.
Was he surprised about this 3-judge panel because it was a Reagan judge, it was a Trump judge, and then it was an Obama judge, and it was a unanimous ruling on this court? Is he surprised by that?
Well, I think, he was not happy with the panel because what you called a Trump judge is just one of these blue slip judges, meaning it was a Democrat judge. It was their seat, and he just approved their seat, which is the deal for those kind of things. And while we would love Ronald Reagan, on trade, he just was not a strong trade guy. So
we really love, honor, and recognize the memory of Ronald Reagan, and he's a bitch.
I think the president saw the panel as weak. He's been through this kind of stuff before. I think he's confident on appeal. He's confident at the Supreme Court, and I think he knows he's going to win because he's.
So they can't think of new ways to attack people. So it's just, oh well, they're Democrats. Okay, what about the three-judge panel that was 2 Republican appointees and one of them was a Trump appointee? Well, that was like, Yeah, no, Trump did select them, but that was more like he just selected them because he wanted to select a Democrat. So that was more not really still a Democrat. And then the Federalist Society now, which is this Federalist Society, you can just say is the reason we lost abortion rights. Like they have fundamentally for probably a century, they're going to have systemically changed the makeup of the federal judiciary. Yes, the Supreme Court, but also all the federal courts. They have been so impactful in moving our country in a more conservative direction judicially, and now they are also terrible and too liberal because one of their judges ruled against Trump, according to Trump. Then I'm honestly, if it weren't so annoying, I'm honestly entertained now by how they keep upping the number of investments in the United States. Before getting to that, Robert Brunswick Jr., thank you so much for the super chat, saying love to you and the guys and all the Beasley beasts.
I love you back.
Have a beautiful and safe weekend. Red heart, blue heart, gold heart, American flag, Ukrainian flag, Canadian flag, gold heart, blue heart, red heart. Thank you, Robert. Canoodle said a big thank you for making the news more bearable from an expat in Sweden. It is an honor and a pleasure. Nathan Jones, thank you for becoming a member by clicking the join button. So here's Howard Lutnick saying, we've brought in $10 gazillion.
I think he knows he's going to win because he's got to protect the American people. He's got to protect the American workers. He's got $10 trillion coming.
Oh, I love this guy, Howard. $10 trillion.
$10 trillion. He's got $10 trillion coming to build factories in America, and he's going to stand for the American people. And he's got lots of other authorities, but I think this one's going to work, and it's going to hold.
Yeah, that's just a made-up number. You don't even have to go, wait, how did they didn't. They just kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, when you tell a story, and as you tell it more, I've said this before, but like it gets more dramatic. We were out fishing and I reeled in oh no, I don't know why I went with a fishing metaphor. This is not my area of expertise. Well, let's go. A 2-foot bass. And then you tell it the next time and you're like, oh my gosh, I went out fishing. And you're like, that 2-foot bass story is not that impressive. Let me up it for this crowd. And I reeled in a 6-foot barracuda. And they're like, what? I'm like, I know. And then the next time you say, I was on the edge of a boat with a spear and a shark, a great white shark jumped up onto the boat. And as the boat started sinking, I stabbed it with my spear. And I looked in its eyes and I said, you messed with the wrong bastard. I said that. I said that to the great white shark. And it died in front of me. And then I ate it raw. That's what they're doing. It's like, hey, if you round up every time a business leader or foreign country said, yeah, maybe we'll invest that. Maybe we'll do a $100 billion deal with Boeing, but we'll see, right? Or maybe we'll build a new factory in 2045, but we'll see. If you round up all of those numbers from million to billion and then add up all of those, then you get maybe 1 trillion. But then they said, we have secured $900 billion of hypothetical, circumstantial agreements and commitments, maybe that might happen if the environment is correct economically for the companies that they said they're. Then they start telling $900 billion. Let's just go with $1 trillion. All right, that's not crazy. Okay, we rounded up a bunch of millions to billions already, but let's just say $1 trillion, clean. But then Trump says it once, it's like, that's not really sexy. What, just a 2-foot bass? No, let's say 2 trillion. That sounds boom. 1 is simple, 2 is, that's big, right? And then it gets somehow to 10. I don't know. Then it gets to 10.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Now, as Elon is actually on his way out officially, apparently. Tim Scott? Yeah. Who I've not talked about in a while. And he's just a strange guy, I've come to learn. But he says we really need to thank Elon for his work because he got those 300-year-olds off of Social Security.
Mr. Senator, how do you see the future of Doge without Musk?
Well, first, let's thank Elon Musk for his amazing service to the American people. He has done what no one else has done before, found hundreds of billions of dollars of cuts and waste, fraud, and abuse.
He did not.
No more 300-year-olds getting Social Security checks because of Elon Musk. Thank God that President Trump had the wisdom.
Yeah, Elon Musk stopped 300-year-olds from being on Social Security, which is why I am proud to announce that I have stopped unicorns from being able to pee on you in public. I'm also announcing that I'm putting an end to dolphins jumping out of the water, growing legs, and picking fights with humans. Can you imagine? I'm also putting a stop to racist citizens of Mars. They have a real racism problem there. I just don't think they ever really got past the impact of slavery on Mars. And so they have a real racism problem. But it's more like racist towards Earth people. And so I'm ending intergalactic hate crimes on Earthlings by Martians. What? They get to take credit for things that we stopped the 300-year-olds from being on receiving payments. But they weren't, though, because they don't exist, and all you're talking about is in the system when they're still in the system on record as being 300, but obviously they're dead and they're not getting Social Security payments. Then you make some fuss about it. And I'm tired of all the fuss. All right, this is interesting. Speaking of Elon, there's a New York Times report out that goes through a lot of stuff. I'm not really so interested in, even though a lot of the piece was about it, about like his sex life. Oh, he has so many babies and the different moms have different issues with him. It's like, okay, I don't know. You know, Hans, thank you so much for becoming a member by clicking the join button. But I am fascinated with the drug use because he's lied to us clearly. And now I'm comfortable saying he has a drug problem. Okay, we're going to get that out of the way. He's acted like before he uses ketamine as you're supposed to, as is even allowed. It's clear he's just using that like crazy. Okay. And he's abusing it, frankly. And that many of the crazy decisions he's made and the strange mannerisms could have been him living it up on Keddy. As Elon Musk became one of Donald J. Trump's closest allies last year. This is too much context. Let's jump forward. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine that his bladder, that his pee-pee wasn't normal. His bladder was being affected, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones with the markings of Adderall. That's less notable, but it's unclear whether Mr. Musk was taking drugs when he became a fixture. He was. That's funny. It's unclear if he was using drugs when he this year and was handed the power to slash the federal bureaucracy. But he has exhibited erratic behavior, insulting cabinet members, gesturing like a Nazi, and garbling his answers in a staged interview. I love the New York Times sometimes. I just love, like, we get to use normal human words. They have to, like, put it into official journalist speak. Gesturing like a Nazi. That honestly does some kind of dirty. Gesturing like a Nazi. He did this gesture, you know, like how a Nazi does. We're not accusing him of that, but at the same time, Mr. Musk's family life has grown increasingly tumultuous. He's banging around, he's having a good time, he's having a bunch of sex, he's having a bunch of babies, etc., etc. The White House did not respond to questions about whether it had asked Mr. Musk to take a drug test. It did not. As a large government contractor, SpaceX makes all of their employees do drug tests, but Mr. Musk happens to have advance notice, unlike the employees. Mr. Musk, who joined the president's inner circle after making his fortune, he is very ecstatic and fun and different and etc., etc. There is more details. Given the fact this is live, I'm just going to take you on this journey with me as we figure out what's going on here. Jordan Saylor, thank you for becoming a member. A lot of members joining up. By the way, if you are becoming a member today, not yesterday's bonus show, so that would have been the 29th, but the 28th, that bonus show, most personal stuff I've ever shown on a bonus show. So just know you have access to that. And the cool thing is once you are a member, then you have all of the old bonus shows. So not that you would want to binge bonus shows. Get a life, but it's there if you want it. A ketamine habit. Mr. Musk has described some of mental health issues in interviews and on social media, saying in one post that he has felt great highs, terrible lows, and unrelenting stress. Same. Welcome to life, baby. No, I'm kidding. He plays video games for hours on end. Well, that could contribute. He struggles with binge eating. Understandable, according to people familiar with his habits, and takes weight loss medication, and he posts day and night on social media platform X. Mr. Musk has a history of recreational drug use, and it talks about the interview he did with Don Lemon and how he obviously lied about how much he uses it. Mr. Musk had been using ketamine often, sometimes daily. That's a lot for ketamine, and mixing it with other drugs. The line between medical use and recreation was blurry. Yeah, I mean, listen, you know how sometimes conspiracy theorists will say, we don't need evidence to know what our eyes tell us. Like, we know Epstein didn't gallop out, right? Like that whole thing. This is one of those situations where you're like, I don't know that he was high. This is not my phrase, but someone else described him as high as balls. I don't know what that means. Strange, weird wording, but what they said. And I'm not saying we know for sure he was, but come on. When he's jumping around on stage in Butler and his little belly button's coming out, like that, normally people don't do that. And Trump reportedly said, what the F is Elon doing? or when he's standing behind Trump in the inauguration, his eyes are rolling back in his head. Like, he could be sober, except for that he couldn't, you know? Thank you so much to Sophia Kaylee Corona for becoming a member. I appreciate you oh so very much. Chrissy said, talk about Elon stealing Stephen Miller's wife. What? I cannot confirm said claim, and I do not know what they're talking about, but that's interesting. I'll look into it. Jeremy Bolden gifted 10 memberships. My gosh, that's incredible. The Food and Drug Administration has formally approved the use of ketamine only as an anesthetic in medical procedures. Doctors with special license may prescribe it for psychiatric disorders like depression, but the agency has warned about its risks, which came into sharp relief after the death of the actor Matthew Perry. The drug has psychedelic properties and can cause dissociation from reality. Chronic use can lead to addiction and problems with bladder pain and control. Yeah, it goes on. I just want to read. I'm sorry this is taking so long. It just is a little bit fascinating to me. But this kind of like disassociating from reality thing, you can totally see that with him. He was saying there are all these investigations into his companies. He's these huge companies. They're being investigated. The government's supposed to do that, make sure that they hold accountable. Any laws are being violated. And he said there are at least half a dozen initiatives of significance to take me down. The Biden administration views me as the number 2 threat after Trump. I can't be president, but I can help Trump defeat Biden, and I will. So sort of his origin story. And then after he jumped around on stage in this photo, when I go get a dictionary, open it, look up the word sober, you'll see this image. You'll see it right there. Not high. Webster. That image. After that night, he was very excited, and he went and found 3 other baby mamas. No, he said, "I'm feeling more optimistic after tonight. Tomorrow we unleash the anomaly in the Matrix." Oh no, this is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised. Lasers from space. That's when you respond. If someone in your family does that, you say, "Are you okay? Where are you right now?" Those are the 2 questions. Are you okay? Where are you right now? And then you go drive to them. And then you get on the phone with the police and just have them on standby, okay? If Jaden texted me, "This is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised. Lasers from space." I would say, I hope you're having a good trip, okay? Oh gosh, that's crazy. Christine, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's move off of Elon. We get it. Actually, not quite yet. I referenced this video. Yeah. Ba 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 da 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 da. Look at this. Yeah, at an inauguration. Isn't there one place you don't do drugs? An inauguration? Like, I don't know, your mother's funeral and inauguration. Where are 2 places you don't take drugs? That seems kind of obvious. And then, I don't know if you've ever seen this video before. So maybe he was not in his right mind. We could defend him.
What a jerk.
I've always tried to make the case that he's not a Nazi. See? Elon, am I not fair? We talked yesterday about the Democratic Party reaching young men and how they stand on the proper principles while also adapting to the fact that people ran away from them. And you can go see my other segments. Let's see. What was the segment? Just in case you're curious and you haven't watched it, because a lot of valuable stuff was in there. The segment where we talked about, it's the one that says watch Trump snaps and cracks, okay? In that one, I go through kind of what I think the Democratic Party adjustments should be, sort of policy stances, how both vibes are harnessed and policy, but then also getting away from like the whole, do I play it again? I think I play it again because I think it provides good context as to what the Democratic Party, they're not literally doing this, but they're giving these vibes too much. So we made an ad. Well, you'll see. Hi, do you have a penis? Are you a man? Both? Then the Democratic Party might be right for you. We know that many of you have become disillusioned with our brain. But don't worry, we spent $20 million to figure you out. We're lit now. No cap. Dead ass. So what do we stand for? Boobs, beers, and brotherhood. While the Republican Party has become so girly,
women love me. You know, I protect women. I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's all.
We focus on masculinity. Manly masculinity. Ford F-250 masculinity. While Trump is obsessed with enriching his biz, we're obsessed with exuding riz. No more pride flags. We're bringing back the American flag. We'll even do the 13 colony one. We really miss you guys. So ask your neighbor if the Democratic Party is right for you.
While this ad did not specify any particular policy changes, we hope that the imagery and tone convinces you to like us. No groups were intended to be insulted in the making of this ad. The LGBTQ community, the Ford community, the boob community, the fertility community, the Republican community, the American flag community.
Democrats, we're the same now, but manly. Yeah, so, Clean, beautiful Cole put that sucker together.
Clean, beautiful Cole.
Right now, too many people trying to figure out how to win back young men are giving those vibes. Like, wait, do you want us to have more masculine imagery? We can do that. It's like, stop. It's so cringy. Stop it. And I won't do my whole rant again because I went through that already. How you be authentic and appeal to the swaths of folks that you lost. You won't get back all of them, obviously, but make gains. But one of the steps is stop naming it, okay? Stop saying this identity group we're trying to pursue. This identity group, oh, Trump made a lot of gains with black men, so we're gonna do... What do black men care about? Let's do a focus group of black men and see which words do you like that we use when we use them. It's just... Same thing with just men in general or any other group. I even get tired of the suburban women care about crime. Yeah, as opposed to other people who don't care about crime. It's so cringe. College how do we win back the non-college education? How about you just do a platform that generally uplifts people? And I know that sounds overly cringy, but I went through the specifics, the oligarchy versus everyone else, framing specific policies on healthcare, on crime, on increasing wages, on family supportive policies, child tax credit, educational enhancements. You can run a message that still has that aggression, which is that people have screwed us over. The tip top, the wealthiest among us have used that wealth and power to influence our political system to keep us down. So we, together, across identity barriers, are going to unite and take back power. And through more common sense taxation of the wealthiest, reinvest in programs that benefit everybody else. And thus, everyone will do better. Trust me, wealthy people, you don't want to live in a country that gets too out of control, wealth inequality wise. So everyone does better if we do this. That still gives you the sort of excitement of political rhetoric because it accurately describes who's screwing who over. But it is not punching down like Trump does. It's punching up. And it's, again, more accurate to the truth because it's not true that all of your ills come from illegal aliens. It is much more true that the powerful few who shape policy much more are more to blame for our societal ills. But it also ignores this weird and cringy, this identity group should vote for the Democratic Party because we support gay marriage. It's like, okay, it's like, you know what gay people want too? A job. I didn't even mean to do that in a voice. That's funny. You know what we want? A job. Get it? Yes. So that's that. But Keith Edwards posted about this. The 2024 Democratic Party platform mentions the word white or white 7 times and only in negative contexts. For example, before the word supremacist or in comparison to other races. The word black appears 31 times and Latino or Latina or Latinx, baby, 21 times. When it comes to gender, the gap is even starker. Woman or women appears 86 times, while men only 4. Half of these precede the phrase and women. Seems like voters got the intended message. Now, I saw someone respond, no one reads the platform. The ad saying Harris was for they, them. Oh, wait, that's not the one I was thinking of, but that there is an important thing there. Yeah, here it is. Yet somehow you and I knew to vote for Harris, didn't we? Now, I get this, right? Because we start having these discussions and we're like, what if we did this? What if we talked about this? And then people go, why is it so complicated? She actually proposed, even if they weren't aggressive enough, even if they weren't systemic changes, more common sense policy, she would have been better for the economy. She would have been better on this issue, that issue. And she's not a complete lunatic like Trump is. Why do we need to change all these things to convince people of what was the rational choice? Or even with her massive flaws, how would people who couldn't understand that she would be better than Trump understand that somebody else would be better? Sorry. We can't change the fact that, I don't know why people voted. I mean, I do, sort of, but I don't agree with the fact that people voted for Trump. But that doesn't mean we just sit on our butt and go, well, people suck. We can change the political tides, and that takes a vibe shift, and it takes a aggressive policy platform. But what's not gonna get us there is this out of touch feeling. And I think sometimes that's over hyped. Like Kamala's platform wasn't going, I'm going to be good for black people or whatever the right-wingers pretend like she was saying. I'm running for they, them. Non-binaries. I am Kamala Harris. She, her, pronouns. And I am for they. Or you. Do I say you in this context? That wasn't her message. It was an all-people message. So I do, it's a bummer that people get convinced that she ran something she wasn't running. But I get that some surrogates for the Democratic Party, voices, social media figures do put emphasis on the wrong things. And if we ignore the fact that we need to advocate for women, right? And people of all different races. But that doesn't mean we have to come off, as some do, like we're comparatively poo-pooing on like a white man, right? That's what white men got really upset. Because there started to be this attitude that if you're a white man, you just don't have any problems, right? And that's not going to be good for the plenty of white men who do have real problems that the government needs to be concerned with, which is why I'm so interested in making it more about the economic issues people have. And anyone experiences those economic issues of any racial background. Doesn't mean we ignore the racial, biases that were embedded into systems that we want to undo. That also is a part of it, but we can't message so much along identity lines that we lose huge swaths of people who otherwise would support the types of policies that would uplift particular racial groups that have been systemically impacted, that would uplift people who are being economically impeded more than others. A lot of people would support those things that could really fix our systems. But while I don't find this rational, to be honest, the words coming out of the mouths of people advocating for those policies make them feel unseen and unloved and unheard. And we want everyone to be seen and loved and heard, except for the oligarchy. We can be negative towards them. Constance, unless they offer me the plane, that offer still stands, by the way. I don't know if you'll remember. If the private plane thing, I'm with you. Then I'm there. We were talking about Bernie getting crap for taking a private plane, and I was saying, obviously private planes, they're really bad carbon footprint, and they're really expensive, but can we all just be honest with each other? If a member of the oligarchy came to us and said, hey, here's your ticket, you can fly wherever you want, whenever you want, oh baby, I'm flying it, was kind of my point about it. No, I'm kidding. Babs, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it greatly. Constance, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it greatly. Lucy said, please upload that ad on its own. It would win over all my male friends who have been left behind. I know it would. Thank you. We did post it on Instagram, or as Bill Belichick calls it, Instaface. I just love that. So Andrew Tate's been charged with rape, human trafficking in the UK. Charged. These are alleged crimes, and we still are yet to understand exactly what the specifics are. But yesterday we looked at his original, I'm the Matrix to try to keep me down because I have the truth, but I won't tell you what the truth is, but I have it. Now he's saying they will kill everyone. And he decided to take most of his clothes off.
I am a reminder of what is going to happen to every single man in the dystopian future which they are trying to build for us. I'm a reminder of what they did to Trump. Trial by media, endless allegations, some victim who he doesn't even remember the name and face of. And now the UK government is trying to silence me. They're accusing me of crimes which happened 15 years ago. They're not even telling me against who. 15 years ago, you did something wrong. To who? We can't tell you. This is a setup. This is a political witch hunt, which is why the members of parliament are openly calling for my decimation.
They are accusing me of the worst crimes you could imagine. Which is why you need to see my nipple.
Where is my chance of a fair trial when members of parliament are saying I deserve to go to jail without even seeing the evidence which has been put in front of a judge? This is a setup, head to toe. And what they are doing to me is the same thing they tried to do to Trump. And
I'm not okay. Yeah, we know the whole bit. Okay, well, you'll have your day in court. I look forward. I mean, hope. Best of luck. I don't know what to say, but they will kill everyone is the caption. So. This is the thing, Andrew. Just give in to it. The thing is, if you just join the deep state, then they won't kill you. I went. They flew me private to a little secret place in the woods. And they said, do you want to fight the Matrix or be in it? And I said, well, what do the two circumstances look like? And they said, you know what we're doing to Andrew Tate? We'll do that to you if you don't join us. And I said, well, as appealing as it would be to be able to film videos for the World Wide Web in my underwear, I don't want you to kill me. So I don't want you to reveal. I don't want you to try to take down my webcam, my prostitution webcam. Not prostitution. What is it called? My whatever porn star empire. I want to keep my porn star empire, but because what you did to Andrew, it's so unfair. He was on top of the world. He coerced these girls to work for him. He was making money. He had Bugattis. He had Ferraris. Dragon X7 Ferraris. So I don't want that to be done to me. If I ever want to get into the webcam business, I want that option. I do. And so I said, I'll join. And they said, okay, well, you have to sacrifice your firstborn. And I said, what? And they said, yeah. So, long story, I had to find someone, I have a baby with them so I could kill it. Did that. Then they were like, hey, you know what? You can go and be a mid-sized YouTuber. Now that you did that. So here I am. Unkilled. Because I... Well, I guess let's leave the week there, I guess. That's a perfect ending to the week. I appreciate all of you so much. Let me, as always, make sure I don't miss anything. Let's actually end with your voices. You have Sir something. I don't exactly know the pronunciation. I'm sorry, but Sir said this chat is sponsored by Luke's Luscious Logic. Yeah, thank you. Motor said I have to read it and process it first because I've had the problem where someone puts something very inappropriate and then I read it and it comes out and then I'm the one who said it. So that's why I kind of paused. In all seriousness, I'm a federal employee and all of Trump's insanity has me very afraid for my job, my ability to support myself and my family. Yeah, I am so sorry about that, and it is terrible. But you all are amazing, and I appreciate you greatly. And I'll talk to you next time.